jumping ahead 20-some years.
Like roundabout what year is this?
This was 1971.
Okay.
1971. I broke into a store and we stole a bunch of checks. And then we proceeded to cash those checks on a Saturday at grocery stores and clothing stores. We go in and buy a pair of jeans or something, or buy a pair of bell bottoms or a shirt, and get the rest back in cash. And I accumulated quite a bit of money, a couple $1,000, I guess. That was pretty big money for back in 1971. And we spent that Saturday night in Richmond. Most of the night was spent at the dope house, getting high. The next morning we took a bus out of Richmond up to D.C. and caught a flight out of D.C. down to Miami. We were supposed to have had a place to stay in Miami, but we get down there and the guy says that the other guy's mother has already called down there looking for him.
So who were you with?
I was with a guy named Billy Smith.
Okay. Just two of you?
Just the two of us, yeah. And you can choose not to use his name, or you can use his name. He's dead now. Just BS is good enough, I guess. That's what he was, a lot of BS. But anyway. So we rented a nice car and took off for Frisco. We made it up to New Orleans. Spent a couple of days in New Orleans down the French Quarter, having a good time. Decided to head on over to San Francisco, so we took off across Louisiana and across Texas. We got to a place called El Paso, and the first afternoon there, we're trying to find some drugs. We got a hold of this guy who beat us. He beat us for a couple $100 a piece.
What does that mean?
Well, he beat us. He ripped us off.
Oh, okay. Like beat you up?
No.
Oh.
No, he just sold us bullshit.
Okay.
Like powdered sugar or something. We thought we was getting one thing, we was getting powdered sugar. Anyway, the next day, I met this guy who had heard about our little escapade and getting beat. And I guess he figured he was going to take advantage of the situation too. So he said, tomorrow night, we can meet my friend over on the other side of the border, on the Mexican side of the border, and he'll have what you want. So sure enough, we hung out all day together, all day long. He didn't seem like he was up to anything. But in the back of my mind, having been ripped off once, and the way he wanted to do this thing, he wanted to go out in the desert and meet this guy at night. Billy, big dumb Billy, he thought that was all right. He thought that was fine. Me, I'm a little more cautious. I'm thinking to myself, this guy knows that we're pretty easy touch. We don't know anybody. But we're going to tell. He can take us out there in the desert and take our car, shoot us, anything he wanted to do. The only thing we had going for us, it was two of us and one of him. Well, we took off, went across into Juarez, went back in the desert. Now don't forget it, the Tequila Sunrise. There's a cover on the album. It has this beautiful sunrise, and that's exactly what that sunrise looked like in the desert that night when the sun was going down. Anyway, we drove about 20-30 miles out into the desert, and the guy was sitting in the back seat behind me, and And I'm clocking him. I'm watching him in the rearview mirror, and he looks like he's getting more and more nervous every minute. And he's fidgeting around and fumbling around and fidgeting. So we get out there. He says, "See this building up here on the right?" Apparently, he knew where we were going. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Pull around behind that building." I said, "It was in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle of the desert." So we pulled around the back, and I saw him reach inside of his coat pocket, and I saw the butt of the pistol when he pulled it out. But little did he know that I made friends with the maintenance guy at the motel we were staying at, and I borrowed a sawed-off shotgun from him, and I had it under my front seat. So when he pulled his out, I pulled mine out and laid it back across my shoulder and told him, I said, "Just put the gun on the floorboard and get out." So he did. He put the gun on the floorboard and he got out. And then he asked me, he said, "Are you going to leave me out here?" I said, "What was the plan? What were you going to do? You were going to leave us out here." I said, "Damn right I'm going to leave you out here." I said, "By the way, give me your damn wallet." So we wound up robbing him for about $600. And last time I saw him, he was walking behind us in the dirt, heading back towards Juarez. But I had the forethought, like I say, I don't know what I'd have done if I hadn't thought. I got to talking to this. I made pretty quick friends with this custodian-like guy, maintenance guy at the motel there. And I told him what we were going to do, and he said, "Man," he said, that's a dangerous country over there in the desert, man." He said, "White boys like you go over the desert, they never come out." He said, "You got a brand new car too?" He said, "Man, he'll sell that car in Juarez and walk back across the bridge, and nobody's even heard of you." And he made an offer. He said, "Well, I've got a gun you can borrow." He said, "It ain't much. It's a single barrel sawed-off shotgun, but the whole thing wasn't a foot long." Before he got in the car, I stuck it under the front seat so I could get at it.
So what exactly were you trying to get?
Heroin. I'm trying to get a half a pound of heroin, which was, number one, you should have told me right then. That's too much. It was too much dope for the money he was asking. It was way too much dope. But like I said, something just clicked. I said, you better arm yourself. Either that or just don't bother going.
Yeah.
And Billy never did know. He never knew what was happening the whole time. I never told him about the gun. He didn't even see the guy. I was watching the guy in the rearview mirror when he pulled the pistol out. Billy, he's just sitting there looking ahead, big, dumb, and happy. He didn't have a clue. When I told the guy to get out and put the gun on the floorboard, Billy was like, "Huh? What? What are you talking? Were you talking to me? What are you talking about, Steve? What?" I'm like, "I'm talking to our passenger here. Looks like he has a little something more in store than selling us some dope." And we stopped at a shot house on the way back through Mexico, on the way back across the border, back into El Paso. Spent the night sitting in there all night long getting high. I don't know if I took anything away from that. By then, I'd pretty much made up the character that I had become at the time. I guess just be careful, be prepared.